Hello, it's Graham Coath with another My Music. In a minute, I will be speaking to the wonderful Lucy May Walker, all about her new album, her life in music, and much, much more, which we will discover as we talk to her. But first, this. Lucy, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm good. Thank you.
You were saying just before we came on that you saw the StreamYard and you thought, you felt quite nostalgic about it because during lockdown you spent a little bit of time in StreamYard. Just tell people what you were doing.
I spent a lot of time in StreamYard.
Too long, she says.
Yeah. And luckily I have a boyfriend who is very technical. So I just hopped on and just spoke and sang and did live streams. And then he did all the rest of the stuff that you can probably do that I can't.
Pressing the buttons in the background and making people's comments come up. What was the best comment you had whilst you were doing your lockdown sessions?
I have no idea.
You can't remember?
Well, everyone's very nice. Luckily, I don't get any trolls. But actually, sometimes I'm thinking like, if I ever get a hate comment, I know that that's when I've made it, and I've not had that yet. So
you purposely now need to find some way of getting hate.
No, I don't think I do.
No, you don't really want that to happen at all. No, stay on the right side of the law. It's probably a better idea. And what sort of things were you doing on those sessions? Were you doing all of your own stuff? Were you doing some covers as well?
Yeah, so I did. I think I did 2 series of a thing called Songwriter series where I would have different artists come on. I think the first series it was just me, and then I decided for the second series I'd invite other artists on, and we'd each almost like a writer's round where you both kind of take it in turns to sing a song and explain what the song's about. And it was nice. People tuned in every week. I do kind of miss that. Sometimes I feel like I neglect it now that we've got real life. So it's nice to be back doing stuff online.
Are you quite surprised, actually, getting off the subject of music for a minute, but are you quite surprised at how quickly we kind of forgot all of that stuff that went on?
Yeah. And sometimes I think because I'm a full-time musician, and I think my income is probably 90% live gigs. And a lot of that is like busking and cover gigs. And, I was desperate to get out and do some busking in lockdown. And I'm disappointed in myself sometimes because I think, I'm not really feeling 100% today. Maybe I won't go busking today. And sometimes I think, remember when you really wanted to do that? But I guess that's life, isn't it? We take things for granted a little bit.
I was very fortunate in a way because everybody was in the same situation, and I started this when that was happening. That it was quite nice. I managed to talk to some people in the music industry I probably wouldn't have been able to talk to otherwise because they had the time to stop. And in fact, we had those conversations. Normally I would be on a plane and I'd be flying over the Atlantic and doing this and doing that. And now I'm stuck here at home. And what you just talked about, I spoke to Billy Sherwood, who's a bass player with Yes. It's like, wow, I've got the bass player with Yes on, and he was literally saying, I would play a Starbucks right now to 2 people.
Yeah.
I am so desperate to get my bass guitar out and play in front of an audience. I would happily do that.
Yeah.
And that's just mad, isn't it? That people that have, can play places the size of Madison Square Gardens and whatever are like literally pulling their hair out.
Yeah, 100%. I joined Twitch as well. And that was really interesting because it's something that I never thought I had time for. And it is true because now that I'm gigging and, got my album out and everything, I don't have time for it at the moment, but I will return to it. But it was, from doing Twitch streams, I did a mixture of covers and originals. And I now have these fans in like America, India, all these places that I would never, ever reach if it wasn't for that time. And they still support me now. And I'm neglecting Twitch. I need to get back on it at some point.
Now, at the weekend, I had my hair cut. So
looks lovely.
Thank you. If you'd spoken to me like last week, it would have been a longer affair.
Yeah.
And we have our hair cut at home because it's a great thing. You don't have to queue.
Someone comes to you?
Someone comes here. Yeah.
Look at you. Someone's doing well.
No, it's cheaper than going out. Yeah, it's amazing. I'll give you her number.
Great.
Hi, Tracy. The kids call her Haircut Tracy. It's lovely, isn't it?
Nice.
And I was having my haircut and I put your album on because I said, I need to listen to this album big time because I'm interviewing this person next week. And they said, as the songs were playing, they said, "Oh, it's a bit country."
Oh,
which was nice because you got a little twang in your voice.
Yeah.
And then it's a bit Taylor Swift.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's like, this is different. And their synopsis was, which I thought was a reasonable synopsis, is that you've got a lot of varying styles in there. The one thing that they did say was, you've got to ask her, is she Irish?
No, but I get that sometimes.
Do you get that a lot?
Not a lot. But so I'm from near Birmingham, Worcestershire, and I'm really sad. I live in London now, but I've kind of like lost my accent. But sometimes it's my A's, right? So I would say the word gravy. I say gravy. So my A's and my I's.
Gravy, isn't it?
And sometimes, and sometimes people think I'm Scouse. I have had Irish before. No one really goes for Birmingham, which is weird. So I think sometimes my accent comes out in certain words in certain songs. But that's interesting because country, I'm not a country artist, and I'm always get confused with genres because I know what I am, but when I try to explain that to people, I always say like, I'm folky pop, but actually I'm probably just pop. But when I say pop, I think people go to like Katy Perry pop, which is nowhere
but you're
near
a bit more
me.
alt pop, aren't you, in a way?
Alt pop. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll start saying that.
Is that okay to say?
Yeah. And then I went for like indie pop. Who knows? Whatever it is. So basically, Tracy the haircutter thinks that I can be anything. Is that what she's saying?
Well, I think Tracy feels that you could be the next big thing.
Wow.
Which is really, she was absolutely, she absolutely loved it. She said she was going to go home and listen to it that evening with her husband.
No way.
Over a bottle of wine, which was lovely.
Great.
And it's a real good test, isn't it? While someone's cutting your hair, because, that means you might get into salons.
It's always been the dream.
And then you've made it. You've made it because like everybody will hear it. No, but I thought it was a reasonable synopsis. You certainly over the breadth of this. There it is, folks. In case you haven't seen it before, there we go. Look, we can do it. We can do a twin thing. I can be I can be Lucy for a minute. Certainly over the course of this, it's in terms of style. There's a consistency throughout, which is
okay. Good.
It's great for I feel for any artist, because sometimes people can try too hard to change things up to a point where they lose any kind of consistency, and then you're really confused who you're listening to. Yeah. You certainly know this is you throughout.
Okay, good.
But it certainly goes through the gamut of sort of emotions, and emotional ride. Did it feel a bit like that writing it?
Yes. I don't know about writing it, but when I look back and I think about all the songs, I do explain it as like an emotional roller coaster. Same with performing live. My songs are like, I'll have you crying 1 minute and then like laughing the next. Because I think, sorry, if
that's
you
life, isn't it? Right.
If you can hear my neighbours, I'm really sorry. There's a very loud
child. Hi, neighbours.
They're so annoying. But yeah, exactly. It's life, and I think sometimes people are like, they'll hear one song and think that you're that one thing. But of course, you don't just write sad songs. I mean, I did used to just write sad songs, and then I kind of evolved as a songwriter. But yeah, emotional roller coaster, I think, is a good term for the album.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, you earlier today did this.
Oh, wow. I only did that like an hour ago. That's impressive.
So there you go. Any particular reason why Floating in Space gets top notch on this?
I just love it. I don't know. And I also said on the caption,
it's your most proggy number.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah.
I did say don't quote me on it because it changes. Tomorrow, maybe Floating in Space will be my least favorite. But at the moment, every time I hear that, I just feel like, I don't know. It's a really interesting song, that one, because it was actually a song commission. So both The Hardest Goodbye and Floating in Space were song commissions. Again, something that came out of lockdown, where I was trying to make some money and was like, does anyone want me to write a song? And I got people to message, and a lot of them were like anniversaries for their partners or whatever. And The Hardest Goodbye is a whole different thing. But Floating in Space, a friend of a friend got in touch, and she said she wanted me to write a song for her kids. Their dad had passed away. And she said, look, I want this song to not be sad. I want it to be uplifting so they can hear it and think of all the great things about their dad.
Well, that is a challenge, isn't it? That's
nice. And I thought, God, like, that it's so much pressure, but it's an amazing way of writing, because you'd never ever write about that if you hadn't gone through it yourself. So what she did was sent me screenshots of like Facebook posts that he kind of wrote. He did a lot of writing himself, and he did like posts to his kids, saying I'm proud of you, blah blah blah. And I would take what he wrote and put it into this song. And he passed away to a song called something Floating in Space. I can't remember the whole title. And I just thought, what a nice message to have. Instead of, when you think of people that have passed, it's always a sad thing. But imagine if you're a kid and they're just having a great time in space, like floating around. So yeah, that's I think maybe the backstory has like a really special place in my heart. So
that is lovely. Yeah, no, I can totally understand why that would move you so much, and why therefore it goes to the top of the list. I think as you get older, I think Another Birthday might creep up the list.
Yeah, I love Another Birthday. I don't know why I put it there. I honestly think everything's number one, but I just did it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everything obviously is number one. And of course, it must be. I mean, it's like when people say to me, what's your favorite song?
Yeah.
How can you do that?
No, stupid question.
Yeah. Who's your favorite music artist? I've got people I've seen more than anybody else. There's people like Marillion who I've been a fan of my whole life. And I love them live. Steve Hogarth's a tremendous singer. If you've never seen Marillion, check it out.
Okay.
But she's writing, which is a good sign. It means I'm being taken seriously. But but the thing is, you can't. If you're a real music fan, you can't. Because ultimately music soundtracks various parts of your life, and you kind of fall in and out of love with particular bits of music. And, you know, 1 minute something means a lot more to you, and then you kind of put it on the shelf, and then you kind of come back to it. And that's the beautiful thing about music as well. It's kind of, you can almost dust it off and bring it back and go, oh, wow, do you know, remember that then? So I totally get you. They're all number one. But that's why I think as you get older, because you're just a young whippersnapper, unlike me, I think as you get older, another birthday will creep up there, because, you know, when you get to my age, it's like, it's another birthday. Yeah. And it's, you know, I mean,
is that your favorite then for now?
I think just because I think, you know, it kind of, everybody that gets past a certain age gets to that point where it's like, you know, birthdays. I love the kids having birthdays. Do you know what I mean? That's really, really special. They're so excited. They're so, and it's like, you know, when it gets to my age, it's like, it's almost like an effort.
Yeah. I totally get that. So for another birthday was kind of written, because when you get, I mean, everyone's getting older all the time. Even, you know, you get older and suddenly it's much harder to meet up with your friends. Some of them might have kids. Some of them, you know, they might have moved away. So I feel like even, you know, at my age, which I'm not going to say, I some friends, I only see them at birthdays, and we seem to make an effort for birthdays, and it's like, all right, I'll see you next year. And it's kind of sad, but it's also nice that, you know, people do make the effort at birthdays.
And it's harder to keep that commonality and that common ground with people, isn't it? As you know, as the years passed. And I guess in a way, let's going back to it again, that was another thing that kind of came out of the pandemic and lockdown and everything stopping for a minute. It was that opportunity to like reconnect with people. It was like, I'm kind of stuck here now. I'm not, you know, I might carry on doing my work and everything else, but, you know, I can't go out. You can't do this, whatever. So, you know, suddenly everybody gravitated to this portal that was in front of them.
Yeah.
And suddenly we all connected in a completely different way.
Can you imagine now doing the Zoom stuff that you did with, like, if someone messaged me now and was like, hey, do you want to do a Zoom party on the weekend? I'd be like, no. But at the time I was like, yay.
What was the most bizarre Zoom thing that you did?
So my dad hosted a Zoom quiz every Saturday.
Right.
And it started off quite tame, and it was quite funny because it was like, it was his friends and then me, and then my friends would find out about it. So it's like all these random people that shouldn't really be together.
Yeah.
And then my friend Dan was like the guy, like the tech guy, because my dad was, every week he couldn't remember how to do anything. So Dan was doing all the tech, and then suddenly the quiz would turn, once the quiz would finish, it would turn into like a disco. So everyone was like, yeah,
virtual disco.
Yeah, it was great. It was so good.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That is pretty, but I think I can beat it on the bizarre front.
Go on.
Well, two things. One is, putting Zoom aside, I actually used a platform called Remo for a bit during the pandemic, which was actually really cool because it had virtual tables. It would have been great for your pub quiz.
Yeah.
Right? Because you literally sat around the table with people.
Oh, that's nice.
Right. And then you could hop table and join another group of people at a different table. You could, on screen, you could just hop. That was brilliant.
Oh.
But the most bizarre, I got invited to a Zoom work session.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, you know, and I was used to like network meetings and other sort of meetups and social things and whatever. But I thought, okay, let's give this a try. And you turned up and it was like, now, the rules are, everybody, nobody's to put their mic on. Okay, nobody. And we are all going to, I'm going to put some I'm going to put some music on, and we're all going to sit there in silence and work, but we're all together.
That's weird.
It's like, what the hell?
So to get like the feeling that you're in an office together,
like get the feeling like you're in a communal space.
That's so funny.
But online, I just thought it was like the weirdness that people went after.
And how long did you last in that meeting?
Like 20 odd minutes, and then I just had to. I thought I was doing quite well.
Yeah.
I was like, the thing is, you get curious with it, don't you? So it's like every few minutes, I was kind of like looking at them when someone's going to talk now, or do something, aren't they? No, it's going to change.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It absolutely isn't. It reminded me actually of a. There might be a song in there later.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the day we all sat still on Zoom. There's a line. But yeah, it reminded me of when I was at university. We did film studies as part of my degree, and we watched this film, and it was a deconstruction of La Bohème, the opera. And we all literally sat all in this cinema place that we had at university, and 20-30 minutes went by and nothing had changed on the screen, and we were all like, miss, we think the film's broken. Shh. And then we realized this was the film. There were only 2 frames in the whole film, and it went on for 2 hours.
Oh wow.
Why do people make art like that? It just doesn't. For me, it just drives me mad. Anyway, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've been through some bizarre experiences. What were your experiences of music when you were younger? Were you from a musical family?
Yes. So my mom was a piano teacher.
Very nice.
Ironically, I do not play piano.
You don't play piano. You rebel against piano in a way because of that?
Well, we have this argument. If she's watching, she'll be like screaming at the computer.
You still need to play.
Because I obviously got to an age where I was like, oh my God, I want to play piano. And she's like, oh, well, I tried to teach you. And I'm like, no, you needed to force me. But obviously that's bad parenting. So I think if I wasn't interested, she just let me do my thing. So she was a piano teacher, and my grandma on her side was a classical singer. And I did more dancing, to be honest, when I was growing up. I did like dance competitions. I did freestyle, like disco dancing.
Wow.
Ballet, tap. And
do you treat people to that at gigs nowadays or not?
Like in my head, I'm still a dancer.
Yeah.
In reality,
you're up there, you're playing guitar, and in your head, you're actually like.
Yeah. No, I get so out of breath. I play guitar, so I don't really move, and I get so out of breath. I don't know how artists do like dance routines and stuff. I saw Pink does like aerial stuff. She's like on tour.
Crazy.
Like, did you see that? I don't know how she sings. But yes, I did lots of singing and dancing and acting kind of growing up. So I was always like a performer. And then I did performing arts at uni, but kind of knowing, just because I could dance and act as well, I thought, well, I'll just make the most of that. But kind of always knowing that I wanted to be a singer. But I kind of started quite late to the songwriting, because I didn't start writing till I left uni.
Who were you trying to convince otherwise then? Yourself or the people around you?
I think because I tried to get into Lipper.
Right.
And I didn't get in, but I had like I've got no music theory. I didn't write at that time, so I literally was a singer. And I just I wanted to have a good time at uni rather than, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I loved uni. I went to Carlisle, so it's quite a small uni, and I had the best time. And okay, I left uni and then I became a busker, so I didn't really need the degree. But you learn so much, kind of just social life, and I grew up so much, became so much more independent. So I don't regret doing that, although my bank balance does.
Maybe one day they'll take you back when you're famous. You know, you'll go back and get your honorary degree in something as well. You know,
maybe
you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Maybe I should have done something like songwriting, but I don't think that I was, because I'd never written anything. I didn't think kind of to go that route. And I used to call myself at uni a singer-songwriter, and people were like, "You need to start writing some songs if you could have call yourself that."
Yeah. So what was it? Where was the inspiration coming from then?
I used to listen to BBC Live Lounge all the time. I was obsessed.
Oh.
I love it. I mean, I still love it, but you know, I could get the CD for Christmas every year.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love how artists kind of took a song and made it their own. So that's kind of how I started. But I did that annoying thing where, you know, when like singers have this like cursive kind of voice and they just think they're really unique, but actually you're just trying to copy. I used to want to be Diana Vickers so bad.
Did you?
From the X Factor? Do you remember her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was obsessed with her. I got like the same bag that she got and everything. I think it's just, you have to go through that where you finding your voice.
I think her initial hit was written by Narina Pelot, wasn't it?
No way, I supported her.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I'll have to ask her about that.
Check it out.
Wow, what a full circle. Yeah, so
random knowledge there.
Yeah, I wanted to be Diana Vickers, and then I eventually realized that I'm pretty cool just being myself. But I think everyone does that, don't they? They try be lots of other people, and then they go, "Oh wait, why don't I just be me?"
Isn't that part and parcel of being a singer, though? In a way, I think it's part of how you learn as much as anything else. You've got to find your voice, but in terms of trying to find your voice, you've got to imitate, and you've got to, you know, you've got to look at how other people do. It's a bit like for singers in particular, it's a little bit like learning a different type of technique on the guitar, or a different type of fingering, or something like that. You know, it's like, how do I get a bit more vibrato in my voice so I sound like this? Or, you know, how on earth do I sound like Stevie Nicks?
Yeah.
How do I go right down there? You know, it's like, but it's part of it. And then it's learning to be comfortable with the faults of your own voice as well, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think actually,
not that they are faults, but you
yeah, don't worry.
The mannerisms of your own voice.
Yeah. And I think performing live as much as possible, you kind of, your voice adapts. So like, I used to really try, and I have quite a low voice, really. This is why I didn't do musical theatre. I did at one point want to be a musical theatre star, but then your range has to be so high, and I'm like an alto, maybe even a tenor, who knows. So then I thought, okay, well, I'll just
at half the price.
Yeah. So I'll just write my own songs in my own key, then I don't have to try and get those notes. But actually, even busking, I guess, allows you to kind of experiment of how you're singing. And I busk for like minimum 2 hours in one go, which is a really long time to be singing. So it kind of you kind of train your voice to withhold those 2 hours. Exactly. Actually, my head voice has got so much stronger because I'm not trying to push the, you know, when people are really trying to push the chest voice. And actually sometimes singing like quite softly is a much nicer sound. So I think singing live as much as possible, and not being afraid to kind of experiment, which is why busking's so good, because no one's listening.
Yeah, don't try and do it, folks. Especially on a cold day, you'll really end up with bronchitis if you overexert your chest voice out there.
For sure.
Been there, seen it, done it, got the t-shirt. But I love busking. We used to busk it. Probably can't do it now. We used to busk right in the middle of Newcastle as a band.
As a band,
yeah.
Wow,
absolutely.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Not. You know, at a time when you were able to do that sort of thing. But the great thing about busking is always that, you know, people who are just walking by and they're not necessarily, they're getting on with their lives. They're not there for a concert. They're not there for a thing. So you've got to work hard. You've got to work hard to catch someone's eye as much as you've got to, deliver. And that's great for taking that into a live situation, isn't it, as well? Because that means you've got some kind of idea about how to win over an audience.
Yeah, and it is a whole different thing trying to win over someone that's not come to see you. Because if you compare it to, like, say, if you're on a festival lineup or something like that, okay, people aren't there to see you, but they are there to see music. So it's much easier to kind of get them. Whereas busking, most of the time, they're like, what the hell is that noise? Oh, it's that girl singing. But actually, maybe 50% of my fan base are people that have seen me busking on the street. So I try not to ever lose that. And yeah, you learn lots of things. But I also think it's so different trying to translate the busking stuff to live shows. It's completely different.
You mentioned festivals. Are you playing any festivals this year?
I
am, but I can't say.
I wish that was the answer. No, any festivals listening, I would love to. My dream festival is Barn on the Farm. I've not even been,
right?
But I just, every time I need to go, I see their lineup, I just think, I would feel like I'd fit in to that festival so well. So that's my dream festival. No, I might be doing Edinburgh Fringe, some busking there, but if I can afford the accommodation.
Yeah. We've got a festival that's just started up. Well, it started up a few years ago down here, called Shindig Festival. There you go.
Shindig. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Somerset.
Oh, lovely. And I drink a lot of cider, so that works.
Well, you need to come and visit sometime. If you're ever passing the door, just knock. And I'll take you to our local cider mill, which is 15 minutes from the house.
Lovely. Sounds great.
Perry Cider Mill. Hi, guys at Perry. Get some on tap ready for Lucy for when she passes the door.
So I need to do Somerset then. So I'm going on tour, if you don't mind me plugging it. I'm sure you were going to ask me anyway, but
yeah, I was.
Go. So where do I need to go next time? Somerset? Is that one to add to the list?
Absolutely, yeah. Somerset is definitely. The thing is, as long as you're passing through Somerset, then you're there, aren't you?
I think the closest one I'm doing to you is
Bristol, and then what you should do, you should do Bristol, and then you should do Exeter, and then you've got to come through Somerset so you can pick up your cider on the way.
Nice. Okay, I'll make a plan. But if
Isn't that a plan?
Fantastic. If not, please come to Edinburgh, Leeds, Birmingham, Bristol, Brighton, or London. That's my tour starting the end of this month, first week of April.
Yeah. There's a Phoenix in Exeter. That's a really good place to play.
The thing is, I'd love to play everywhere.
Of course, but it's not
financially
possible.
Yeah, with a band and everything. Like, basically, if you're going on tour, you're going to lose about $2,000. So I have to really pick places where I know I've got the audience. And at the moment, Southwest, I don't really have that much of one. So
where you're going wrong there, just let me give you a little tip there. Where you're going wrong is what you need to do is you need to sell T-shirts which are $2,000. See?
What do you mean?
If you had merchandise, if you had a special T-shirt on your merchandise roster, which was £2,000, you wouldn't lose £2,000 when you went on tour.
Got it.
See?
I thought you were trying to tell me how to sell tickets in Somerset. I was like,
no. Well, the way to sell tickets in Somerset is to support the Wurzels. No,
I wouldn't say no.
Hey, do you know what I mean? Because I am a cider drinker and all that. They're still very popular around these parts. But Glastonbury. There you go. That's this neck of the woods. Maybe try and do Glastonbury next year.
Oh, as if it's that easy, Graham.
We can put the feelers out.
Okay.
My wife works in Glastonbury on a week. She probably bumps into the Evis family on a regular basis. So,
Great. Let me send you another CD to just have on hand.
Emily, if you're watching, Lucy would like to play your festival next year. Is that all right? Thanks, darling. Okay.
There is the competition, which I Oh, sorry, I've got a...
That's not you. That's a dog.
Good timing. I applied for the competition. But let's see if that works. Oh, you're muted.
I am muted because of the dog going absolutely crazy. I'm sorry about that, folks, in the background. I don't even know where he's come from. Right?
Is it not your dog?
It might not even be my dog. Listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. If people want to find out a bit more about your music and listen to this, where shall they go?
Oh, if you want a copy of the CD, you can buy that on my website. Also, vinyl is coming.
Give the address.
LucyMayWalkerOfficial.com. And then you can find it on Spotify, Apple Music. The album is called Nothing Ever Stays the Same. And my name is Lucy May Walker.
You're very professionally done. Thank you very, very much. I hope you've enjoyed today, Lucy. I hope you've enjoyed our chat. Let's see you out and about. Any of those places. I'm going to name drop any of the people that we mentioned in there today so that hopefully that they join in. One last question, which I always ask people, which is, you know, you mentioned earlier, you knew Miss Pello. Anybody that you'd love to work with?
Oh, so many. Oh, you put me on the spot though. I would like to write with Gabrielle Aplin. And I feel like I could get there because I feel like she's in reach. So let's go for that one. And I always wanted to do a duet with James Morrison. Is he still about?
Yeah, he's still about. I think he released an album last year. But Gabrielle Aplin, that's what a wonderful voice.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she is. And you know what? Because she did. So is that a dream of yours as well? Because she did one year the John Lewis advert.
Yeah. I think it's everyone's dream.
Would you love to do the John Lewis advert?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's a great way to kind of catapult your career, you know.
Which song from the album is the John Lewis advert?
Oh, As It Is Now, I guess.
Floating in Space.
Well...
No.
Yeah, I guess the John Lewis sound is changing, isn't it? But normally it's quite stripped back and acoustic. So maybe Run Back Home.
Yeah, Run Back Home.
Who knows?
Do you know what? I'm going to tag John Lewis in as well. John Lewis, if you're watching, Run Back Home for the John Lewis Christmas song.
That'd be nice.
Make it happen.
Thank you.
Lucy, it's been an absolute pleasure
having you on.
Thank you so much for talking to me. I wish you all the best for the future. In all seriousness, if you're ever Somerset way, do say hi.
Oh, I absolutely will.
We're open our doors. You can come in, have a cup of tea. I will take you to the local thing and buy you some cider. How about that?
That's a deal. Thank you. I will.
There you go.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's been the wonderful Lucy May Walker. You've been watching My Music, sponsored by the wonderful Analog Trash. If you've enjoyed this, including the dog barking, because you know that's keeping it real, then please subscribe, share it with your friends, and tell everybody about Lucy, because it's not about me. As I say every time, it's about the music. Enjoy. Bye for now.
Bye.